गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री Gurave Namah. They are in Jnaneshwari, chapter 9, verse number 32. And we saw the Lord is telling Arjuna that how is the offering, how the karma needs to be done in life. And there it was told that as long as you feel you are an individual, till then you offer all your karmas, that is all your actions, to the Lord. And that way what will happen? You will not, there will be no precipitation of any samskar, the impressions. And in the next verse, he talks about devotee. And who is a devotee? It is told, devotee is he who does not do any karma. How come he does not do any karma? Because the devotee's mind is totally engrossed in the Lord, and therefore he is not available to know or not know what action is being done. There is a difference. So, when he sees what is his intention or what is his belief or what is his faith, that everything is Lord. If everything is Lord, everything that is happening in my life is Lord. What is not happening is also by the will of the Lord. So let me think about the Lord. And when you are continuously thinking about, like for example, when you are driving and your mind is engrossed in some thought, you don't realize that you have driven the car and reached the destination, isn't it? We all do it exactly the same way. That's a trailer. Imagine whole life is lived like that, that you are engrossed in something higher and you don't even know that the life is being lived. See? And that that was told in the in the 28th verse, and therefore there is no question of the devotee committing any sins in his life. The one who has individuality, the one who has a sense of I-ness, for such a person there is papa punya, there is karma akarma, there is birth and death, there is whatever, purification. But for a person who is totally devoted to the Lord, he sees the whole universe as an expression of the Lord. It may not be his experience, but he is continuously thinking of the Lord, so that this vision is presented to him, is revealed to him. In that process, he goes beyond birth and death, he goes beyond karma, he goes beyond hunger, thirst, etc., all the karmas. And in this way, the Lord says in the 29th verse, I am the same to all beings, none is hateful or dear to me, but those who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am in them. So, how can a devotee ever have a disposition of hatred or dislike? Lord is beyond likes and dislikes. Why?
Because everything he is.
Therefore,
There is nothing about duality.
Therefore, Good. Therefore,
There's nothing to like or dislike.
therefore, that's how we began. Likes and dislikes are possible only to the mind. Lord does not have a mind. Individuals have antahkarana. Antahkarana is what? Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. Lord is without antahkarana. Antahkarana is created where there is duality. If Lord is one and the only thing, then there is no question of duality. Therefore, there is no mind, intellect, memory, and ego created. And therefore, he is beyond likes and dislikes. And if we merge into him, we will also become like that. Our disposition will also be like that. So is the state of so many Mahatmas. So those who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am in them. The Lord says, those who think of me exclusively, I have got no choice but to reveal myself to them. Because they are not, they are, where does, I should say, I put it this way, what is the prerequisite in order to be devoted to the Lord? If our attachment is with any person, if our attachment is with any place, if our attachment is with any object, these are obstacles to our devotion to the Lord. If our attachment is to the Lord, if our attachment is with regards to object, who the Lord is, and the place where the Lord lives, then we get out of this individual. Because how is an individuality created? Time, space and objectivity, or time, place and objectivity. So when we think about the Lord, we are weaning our mind away from that this is my bed, this is my room, this is my house, this is my country, this is my clothes, this is my chair, this is my job, this is my wife, this is my children. If in order to expand our mind, we have to give up attachment to the small. And what is that small? One person attachment, one place attachment, and one object attachment. That is, and that you cannot make it happen, but when you keep thinking about the Lord, keep remembering His name, automatically this expansion comes about. And this was told, and they are in me and I am in them. And for such a devotee, the Gora Kumbhar, you know the story of Gora Kumbhar? I'm just going to take one aspect of his story, and that is his wife. They had a small baby, 1 year, not even 1 year old, and the wife said, Kumbhar means he is a potter. So he is standing and pounding on the mud with his feet to make it soft and malleable. And the wife says, I have to go and bring some vegetables or something. I am leaving the child on the cot, so take care. He says, yeah, and he is singing away the name of the Lord. Jai Hari Vittala, Shri Hari Vittala, 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 Vittala. And he is singing away. And in the meantime, that child comes down, falls down, or it learns how to climb down from the cot, and he is crawling away. And in that crawling, he comes to the place where his father is pounding the mud. And he slips into that pit where the mud is being pounded by the feet of the Gora Kumbhar. And he is not doing just like this. No, he is jumping in ecstasy, singing the name. And under his feet, the child comes and dies. And the wife comes, sees where the child is, she screams at him. He doesn't realize. Then she sees the blood, why the mud is all blood there. Then she realizes what he has done. And then she stops him, and he realizes. He says, I didn't know. She says, one job I gave you, we got the child by the grace of the Lord, and that child also you could not take care, you trampled him under your feet. And then he sings the name of the Lord, and that same Lord again comes and brings back the child. So karma was being done, action was being done by Gorakumbhar, which is trampling the mud, and in that trampling there was no feeling that I am doing the action, isn't it? We are coming to this point now, that I am doing the karma of trampling the mud. Therefore, there was no feeling that I have trampled the child.
No ownership of
That ownership was not there. So what is the smart way of living life? Smart way of living life is, let life be lived through you and you remain immersed in the remembrance of the Lord. That is the best way to live. But we think as individuals that we karma zaruri nahi hai kya? It was. Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji wrote the Gita based on karma. But that was the need of the time. See? Don't remain there. Understand the whole picture, what actually the Gita is giving. Huh? And saying, when we come to, then even if a person of vilest conduct worships me and none other, he too must be reckoned good, for he is rightfully resolved. We saw this, that even if a person of the worst nature has gone through a transformation for some reason, transformation doesn't come because we wish transformation to come. Transformation doesn't come because we have made the resolve. Transformation comes by the grace of the Lord. But that does not mean that we must not make the resolve, that we must not put the efforts. So that we don't have a big ego that I have transformed myself. Therefore, understand it happens only by the grace. And so happened with Angulimal. I think this was the example I gave last time. And he was waiting to have the 100th thumb or finger to be cut, kill that person, and the last person he came across was Buddha. And a transformation took place and he became a sadhu. So here the verse in the 30th verse, it was told, Api chet suduracharo bhajate mamanya ananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi sah. Sadhurev. Who is this sadhu person? Sadhu person doesn't mean a person who's wearing a ochre robe. Sadhu person means a person who is committed to the spirit, committed to the divine. So does that mean that this person who was a killer before, like our Ratnakar also, he became Valmiki after the satsang with Narad Muniji? So does that mean that if a person, we make this statement na, 100 चूहे खाके बिल्ली हज को चली. Yes, it is. वो murderer ने, he has also killed so many. But if this transformation has come about, don't undermine that person. Rather than supporting that person's transformation, we make these type of statements like 100 चूहे खाके बिल्ली हज को चली. कि come back, you remain who you were. Don't try to fool us. Here the Lord is saying, if he has changed for good, because what is that which troubles us most? What is that which troubles us most? Not the future, not the present, but the past, the guilts. Because we don't know what is in the future. But the past we have done, we have committed mistakes, we have behaved improperly, we have cheated someone, we have scolded someone, we have hit someone. And all those things, our habits, our speech, our anger, all those wrongs, they are still there in our memory. See? They come to haunt us. And in spite of their haunting, if we have taken a stance, a commitment that I want to change, then we must support that person rather than undermine. Hey, you are a thief, remain a thief. No. He is worthy to be worshipped. Because he is a sadhu. Who is a sadhu? Who has given up his old habits. He knows they are there, but he makes a choice to commit to the divine in spite of everything. Such a person is a sadhu. Because that choice will always be available to us. From childhood till this body goes away, that choice will be available to us. What choice do we make? Do we make the choice of being committing to the divinity, or do we make a choice to remain committed to persons, objects, and places? If we remain committed to persons, objects, and places, ego will continue to, likes and dislikes will continue to precipitate, joys and sorrows will continue to precipitate, individuality will become stronger. But in spite of doing that, do what is required, let it happen. You have trained yourself to be a mother, a father, a son, etc., etc. By default it will happen, but in the depths of your heart, remain committed to the Lord. And that is what is told in the 30th verse. He too must be reckoned good, for he is rightly resolved. So resolution. We make 100 times, we make resolutions only to break. The type of single pointed focus your daughter had for year 12, very rare. For it has to be something huge that she is pursuing that will bring about that type of focus. For last how many? 6 months, 8 months, maybe whole year, the child is focused on studies. Parents are also surprised. That is my child able to do this? At last it's all over. Huh? See? That intense focus. See, in one way you are all focused because you are doing a job, you are maintaining family, your social circle, your children, your grandchildren, and that you are not saying it in words, but in the back of your mind, that is your focus, isn't it? And that is what is making your prompting all the actions to happen. That thought is making it all happen. See? But there the thought is, I am doing everything. You have made a resolution that I have to live my life. You have made a resolution, I am responsible, I have to care for my children, I have to care for my grandchildren, I have to care for my income, I have to care for whatever, everything, my lifestyle, etc., etc. But there is another resolution that we can all make, which is not a hypocritical one, but a sincere one. And that is, oh Lord, give me the vision, let me remember you, and by your grace, let me see that this whole world is nothing but your play. Give me that vision. See? And one who has realized this is realized. To one whom this vision is revealed is God realized. Now we come to the Yeah, so in the 31st verse it was told, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shanti nirgacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. In the 31st verse, he soon becomes righteous and finds everlasting peace. Oh, be assured, O son of Kunti, that my devotee does not perish. Why devotee does not perish?
She merges in the Lord.
And can Lord ever perish? No, he is the only material that is there. He is the essence. So one who has merged into the essence, how can there be destruction of that one? Not possible. Yes, body will perish, mind will perish, breath will also go away. But the person, the soul, if you want to use the word, soul does not perish. It has become one with the divine. Coming to the 32nd verse. Mam hi partha vyapashritya ye pisyu papa yonayah striyo vaishyas tatha shudraha tepi yanti param gatim. In the 32nd verse he says, even if those who are low born, women, the Vaishyas and the Shudras take refuge in me, O Partha, they reach the highest goal. This is a bit of, people will start thinking why they have said Stri, why they have said woman, why women are less than men or what. Now we will look at it. One understanding of Stri is low caste or low, what is this? Low born. Low born is those who are having no cultural background whatsoever. They are the low born. Low born are also Tiryak Yoni. Tiryak Yoni, those who are not evolved. They are low born. Then comes the Vaishyas. Who are Vaishyas? Those who do Vaishyas are the prostitutes, etc. Or the, here that is the meaning. And they are only looking for profit in whichever way they are possible. And Shudras are those people who are, one understanding is Shudras are those who are always dependent on others, and another way of looking at it is Shudras are those people who always cribbing, complaining, I want my rights. They never think about the total. They are only thinking about my rights, my rights, my rights. And then you can see in the world today, the majority of the countries, so-called developed countries, the system is, what is protected more? Not that individual rights are given more importance than the collective, isn't it? Individual rights are given more importance. And this is the Shudra, this is the Shudra thinking. It is always, what is in it for me? The one who is continuously about himself, about his rights, those people who keep comparing, look at that, look at me, look at my husband, look at this, me, why I should not do this, I will do this much and he has to do that much. Those who talk about in family 50-50, there is no sacrifice, there is only comparison, and in that comparison, how I can get a bigger slice for myself. This is Shudra mentality. And the other way was those who are totally dependent. They are also Shudra. Now why woman? Woman is, first understanding of woman here is, Stri is that which is at the mercy of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. That is Stri. Satara, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Second thing you understand is, here Shankaracharya says that as much pain a woman needs to go through in her life from birth till death, that much man doesn't need to go through. First, it's people always say we want boy, we don't want girl. Now it is changing. Second, mentally they are more tortured than the men. Man decides this way or that way. Woman cannot decide this way or that way. Very difficult. For them, because their mind is scientific, not shifted. Scientifically, men are left brain, majority of the men. But scientifically, the left lobe and the right lobe is connected in woman. And therefore, they keep flipping between right and left brain. Right brain is emotional, left brain is intellectual. So, they are not able to make a clear cut. Then once they get matured throughout for 20-30 years, they have to go through that pain. Then the pain of the childbirth. Then the pain of taking care of the husband. Then the pain of, in the old age also men don't leave, children don't leave. I'm looking at it only from pain point of view. I'm not looking at it that she may not look at pain as a pain and she grows and expands her love to include everyone in that. Then she's great. But whatever you may say, as much responsibility a woman has to have in life, not only that, the whole family structure is because of the woman. The next generation's samskars are dependent on the woman. So much responsibility. See? If man divorces, nothing happens to man. If woman divorces, she becomes a, what do you call?
Object of talk.
Object of talk, object of ridicule. People start eyeing her in a different way. See? So there, from these, looking at these points, it is told here. So here, let's see what Jnaneshwar Maharaj says. Aganave gheta vokhati ze agave ya adhamanchiye shevati tiye papayoni kiriti janmale ze te papayoni mudah मूर्ख जैसे ता दगड़ परिमाज्या ठाई दृढ़ सर्वभावे जयाचिये वाचे माझे आलाप दृष्टी भोगी माझेची रूप जयाचे मन संकल्प माझाची आहे वाहे. Here he says, O Partha, there are many who are low born, the vilest of the vile, slow witted, and born in sinful wombs. They may be as stupid as stones, but having unflinching devotion to me, their speech sings my glory, their eyes enjoy my form, their mind ever thinks of me and of nothing else. So there is possible. See, we see the bull, Rishabha, he became devoted to Lord Shiva and he got a wonderful position, isn't it? That same Garuda, who is the killer of all snakes, who is the king of all, became the king of all the flying birds because the Lord chose him to be his Vahan. See? That snake which has venom, he became an ornament around the neck of the Lord Shiva and became the bed of Lord Narayana. And this way, that small rat, mouse, became the vehicle of Lord Ganesha. And this way, peacock for Kartikeya, what do you call, the swan for Saraswati. But donkey for Shitala Mata, tiger for Durga. And this way, all the low-born animals, means who are low-born, those who are not able to take independent decision, those who are living basically on instincts. Yet, by grace of Lord, some of them show inclination towards divinity, like our Bindi. When chanting starts, Vedic chanting starts, she comes in. She does not know from good or bad because they don't have the discrimination ability. They don't know what is right and wrong. They only function on their instincts. They're programmed that way. But she comes, listens to the sun, listens to the chanting. Similarly, or any species, if for some reason they become devoted to the Lord knowingly or unknowingly, by seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, imagining, whatever. Then here, then Jnaneshwar Maharaj continues, Maziya kirti vina jaya cherite nahi shravana jaya sarvangi bhushana Mazi seva jaya che jnana vishonene जानीव मज एकाते ची जाने जया ऐसे लाभे तरी जिने ए विमरण ऐसा आघवाची परि पांडवा जिहि आपुलिया सर्व भावा जिया वया लागी बोलावा मी चिकेला ते पाप योनि होतु का ते श्रुताधीत ही न होतु का परि मजसी तुकिता तुका तुटी नाही पाहे पा भक्ति चैनी अथिलेपणे दैती देवा अणिले उणे माझे नृसिंहत्व लेणे जयाची ये महिमे. He says, their ears hear nothing but my famous deeds, and they think that their bodies are adorned by service to me. Their knowledge is indifferent to sense objects and conscious only of myself. If they cannot have a life like this, they prefer death to it. O son of Pandu, those who live a life full of devotion to me, even if they are low born and are not learned in the scriptures, they are not a bit inferior when compared to me. See, with the wealth of their devotion, the demons scoffed at the gods, and I had to incarnate myself for the glory of Prahlada. So Prahlad was the son of a demon. Yet that Prahlada, even though he is having all the samskaras of the demon, but he was a devotee of the Lord. And the Lord had to come and reveal him. We see in the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra also, so many people from different walks of life, they came and became devotees, and the Lord, Shirdi Sai Baba, he put them into their sadhana, isn't it? Some of them, he sends them away. Don't be attached to me. You go and discover the Lord. Discover the truth. And in this way, the Lord here is absolving the low-born. So, because what has happened over the centuries is, the Gita written in Sanskrit was a scripture to be studied only by the Pandits. Then what do low-borns do? Meaning those who are dependent, those who are not intelligent, those who are not smart, those who don't have as much common sense, those who are a bit, stupid. What do? They don't have any chance. Once one Swamiji was giving lecture, and one lady used to come, and she will come in the middle of always come a little bit late. Swamiji is sitting here giving lecture. She will come, didn't care about anyone else. Came around, took 7 rounds around Swamiji, every day for 7 days. Took 7 rounds around Swamiji, and in the last round, take the mala which she had in her hand, put it around Swamiji, and then sit down. And the lectures were in English. And Swamiji saw this lady cannot understand, doesn't look like she can understand English. And after the whole week was over, She was sitting there with so much devotion. She is listening about Swamiji's talks were on Ramayana. With so much devotion. In the front only she will sit down and keep looking at him, and she's crying away everything. After 7 days, when the thing was over, Swamiji came down, touched her feet, and he said, Amma, ये बताओ, English बोलते हो? Do you speak English? She says, no. Then what did you understand? What I spoke for 7 days? She said, you are speaking on Ramayana, isn't it? आप हिंदी रामायण के ऊपर बोल रहे हैं ना? फिर अच्छा ही होगा. Then it must be good. If you must be speaking on Ramayana, therefore I came, therefore it is, the words, whatever you spoke, must be good and it must be good for me. It's not important I understand or I don't understand. See? Equally stupid we are also. At least she was listening to the words, which are quality of space. More stupid we are. We, just like she suspected that divinity was being talked about, was being elaborated in the talk, we also suspect that the divinity is expressing through a statue. Isn't it? रास्ते पे पत्थर पे लगा के लाल करके हनुमान जी बना दिए. You see, that stone must have done some punya somewhere in order to be selected, to be colored and painted into red and make it into Hanumanji. Out of so many stones, only this particular stone was made into a statue. Why? See? So as much stupid that lady was in the satsang, if you have the vision to see, we are also equally stupid to suspect divinity in the... But that bhav is required. So for low born or unintelligent people or stupid people, intelligence is not required. You try to explain them karma, I don't know. They are naturally not interested in karma. Tell them about Vedanta, forget it, that will go sixers. You talk to them about love, about devotion, that will click. See? So therefore, here Jnaneshwar Maharaj continues. तो प्रह्लादुगा मजसाठी घेता बहुते संकटे सदा किरीटी काजे मिया ध्यावे ते गोष्ठी तयाची या जोडे हेवी दैत्य कुळ साचोकारे परी इंद्र ही सरी नला है उपरे मनौनी भक्ति गा एथ सरे जाती अप्रमाण राजाज्ञेची अक्षरे आहाती तिये चामा एका जया पडती तया चामासाठी जोडती सकळ वस्तू वाचुनी सोने रूपे प्रमाण नोहे एथ राजाज्ञाची समर्थ आहे तेची चाम एक जैला आहे तेणे विकती आघवी तैसे उत्तमत्व तैची तरे तैची सर्वज्ञता सरे जे मनोबुद्धी भरे माझेनी प्रेमे. Here he says, Jai manobuddhi bhare mazheni preme, the one who fills his mind and intellect with my love, such a person alone is worthy to be called a devotee. So here he continues, he suffered, who is this Prahlad? He suffered great tortures for my sake and I had to provide him with whatever he wanted. Even though he was born in a demon family, he excelled Indra in glory. Therefore, devotion to me alone counts and not caste. When a piece of leather bears the royal seal, it has the power to buy all things. The royal seal, not even gold or silver, has the power to make the piece of leather the measure of value with which to buy things. So a person attains greatness and infinite knowledge if his mind and intellect are full of devotion to me. So probably in the olden times, the leather was used as a currency with a stamp on it. So here he is saying even gold and silver have less value than that royal seal which is on a piece of paper or on a leather. Nowadays it's on watermark paper. So what is that ultimate? The devotion to the Lord. If one has filled his mind and intellect or head and heart with the love for the Lord, there is nothing greater than that. No amount of wealth of this whole world, of this whole universe can compare to that wealth. And this is given in our Shastras, in our Puranas, in plenty. Whether you take Ajamil, whether you take Prahlad, whether you take Dhruva, whether you take Hanumanji, whether you take Shabari, whether you take that, who was that? The one who took the Ramchandraji across in the boat? Kuch to naam tha, can't remember. He was a tribal fellow, but his devotion to the Lord. The Lord says, I'll give you, you help me cross Gangaji, I'll give you so much wealth. Sita came to give her a necklace. He says, I don't want your necklace or your ring. He says, then, but you have to take, Ramchandra says, you have to take something. He says, okay, I will ask for something. He says, what? He says, promise me that when you come back after 14 years of exile, that you will take my boat to cross the river again. So, Ramchandraji, who had the flying plane from Ravan, he could have gone straight back to Ayodhya, but he dropped down here and then he took the boat across and then he walked back to Ayodhya. Only to fulfill the promise that he had given to that Guhaka, I think his name. See? This is the greatness of devotion to the Lord. हाँ 255 मरणौनी कुल जाति वर्ण है वर्ण हे आघवेची गा अकारण हेथ अर्जुना माझे पण सार्थक एक तेची भलतेणे भावे मन मज आतू ये ते होआवे आले तरी आघवे मागी लवावो जैसे तवची वहाळ वोहळ जवन पवती गंगाजळ मग होऊनी ठाकती केवळ गंगा रूप का खैर चंदन काष्टे हे विवंचना तवची घटे जवन घापती एकवटे अग्नि माझी तैसे क्षत्रि वैश्य स्त्रिया का शूद्र अंत्यजादी इया जाती तवची वेगळालिया जवन पवती माते. He says, therefore, noble family, color and caste are of no account. What is of vital significance is to have love for me. If devotion of whatever kind enters his mind and fills it with love for me, then all his past life is effaced thereby. Streams remain as streams so long as they do not meet the Ganga, but they become one with the Ganga after joining it. We can distinguish wood as sandalwood or katechu so long as they are not consumed by fire. Even so, men are known by their different castes as Kshatriya, Vaishya, women of the lower caste, so long as they do not attain to me. Look at Mirabai, gone through so much hardship. But eventually what happened? Was anyone able to touch her? Was anyone able to kill her, punish her? A great devotee of the Lord. She didn't care whether she was singing in the court of a Hindu king or she was singing in the court of Akbar. She was her definition of herself was, I am a devotee of the Lord. I am the wife of the Lord Krishna, and nothing else mattered to her. Shabri, she is a Shudra. But did it matter to her? She asked the teacher, after you go away, then what will I do? These other brahmacharis and brahmanas in the ashram, they'll throw me out. Because of you, I am able to clean the ashram. What will I do after you go away? You are dying now. He says, you hold on to Ram. He will come and give you darshan. And how did she do her tapasya? She just kept remembering the Lord. She thought that today Ram is going to come. Every day till Ram came, she kept thinking sincerely that today is the day Ram is going to come to her. And she will go collect fresh berries, keep them ready for him. Sweep the pathway so that when Ram comes, he does not get pricked by the stones or seeds. Every day, 60, 70 years she did that. And then one day Ramchandraji came. And when Ramchandraji came, she wanted to feed him. And in that ecstatic love that she was feeling, instead of giving the flesh of the berries, she took the berry, put it into her mouth in order to pip it, but instead she gave the pip into the mouth of the Lord. And the Lord also forgot. He was not here for the berries. He was there for the Shabri. In that communion that took place, she, instead of giving the flesh of the berries, she gave him pips, and he, not recognizing he's got attention is only on Shabri, he also ate the pips and he's feeling very satisfied. But Lakshman, he is getting angry. How dare this woman give pips to my brother? This is what love does. It forgives, forgets, it makes you sacrifice without any expectation of anything in return. Because that love which demands something in return then individuality is still there. Then it is not love. Then it is not devotion. In devotion there is no comparison. There is no competition. There is no wanting. There is no goal to be reached. No expectation. The beauty of the path of devotion is the means, devotion is the goal. The goal is devotion, the means also is devotion. Whereas in all other paths, you do yoga, then you will get into samadhi. You study Vedanta, then you will come to realize yourself. But in devotion, you begin from where you want to get to. Both is one only. And that is the beauty of, and therefore here the Lord is making it available to everyone. He says it is not important what background you are from, whether you are born to a priest, whether you are born to a yogi, you are born to a monk. There are, like Jnaneshwar Maharaj's father, he was a monk, he was a sannyasi. Lucky he had. But I have met one sannyasi in Gujarat. I stayed with him for 1 month. He is a Maharishi Punitacharya. He has 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. But whatever I know, they are not pursuing what their father is pursuing. See? So not necessary that children will follow the footsteps of the parents. Yes, genetic code is there. The Pulastya Rishi, I think it was Pulastya whose son was Ravana? Pulastya Rishi. Now he was a Rishi. But how can Ravana be born? Kumbhakarna be born? Vibhishan is born. So the good qualities only went into Vibhishana. Others, they were. See the problem? So to expect anything from anyone, even your own children, is wrong. You concentrate on your life, that your mind and heart must merge into the divine. What children will do, that is up to them. What about our duty? Again duty will come. What about our duty? Where is, the moment you say what about our duty, where is your attention gone? On the?
Individual.
On the?
Karma.
Karma. On the karma. And when you do karma, again likes and dislikes are created, joys and sorrows are created, impressions are precipitated. Then after whole life you'll say, I wish I had done that for my children, or I wish I had not done. How did you know? You don't know. So that this type of feeling doesn't come afterwards in your mind. Do whatever is required, it will automatically come out of you. But don't take ownership of it. Offer it to the Lord. Continuing. Where are we? Even so, men are known by their different castes as Kshatriya, Vaishya, woman or lower caste, so long as they do not attain to me. This distinction by caste or as an individual becomes zero when they become merged into me through devotion like salt merged into the ocean. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, म गजाति व्यक्ति पड़े बिंदुले जय वहाँ भावे होती मजमीनले जैसे लवण कण घातले सागरा माझी तव वरी नदा नदीची नावे तवची पूर्व पश्चिमेचे यावे जवन येती आघवे समुद्रा माझी हे चिकवणे ऐसे एके मिसे चित्त माझे ठाई प्रवेशे ये तुले हो मग आपैसे मीची होणे असे अगावरी फोडावयाची दागी लोहो मिळो का परिसाचे आंगी काजे मिळतीये प्रसंगी सोन्याची होईल पाहे पावाल भाने चैनी व्याजे तिया व्रजांगनाची तिजे मज मीनलिया काय माझे स्वरूप नहवती. He says, this distinction by caste or as an individual becomes zero when they become merged into me through devotion like salt merged into the sea. Rivers and streams are known to be flowing east or west only until they join the sea. By whichever path a devotee's mind enters my divine being, it becomes one with me of its own accord. When iron is used to break the philosopher's stone, the moment it touches the stone, it changes into gold. Did not the minds of milkmaids of Gokul become united with my eternal being through love? Those priests or rishis, they were doing the havan, chanting all the mantras, and Krishna Bhagavan is here with his gopas and his calves, and he sends the gopas. Oh, gopas, go and get some food, because they were hungry in the afternoon and they had forgotten to bring the food with them. So he sent them, go to the rishis and ask them to give some food and say Krishna has sent you. Because everyone knows Krishna and what feats he has done. When the gopas go to them, the rishis say, hey, don't disturb us, we are doing the havan. And they come back. He says, oh, what can you do? Now you go. Now you, what do we do? He says, now go to their huts and the wives will be preparing food for the prasad, for the havan. You ask the wives and tell them Krishna has asked. Again the Gopas go to the huts, they ask, every hut they ask the ladies, oh Amma, our Krishna has come and he is very tired, he forgot to bring the food, can you give us some food? They, at that very moment, they left everything, they took the food themselves and ran to Krishna. What? Krishna is here near our house, I would like to see him and I will feed him with my own hand. Every wife of the Rishi went with this type of abhav. What were the Rishis involved in? Karma Kanda. What is the goal of life? To merge into the divine. What are the Rishis doing by doing the various havan? To go to the heavens. The divine is beyond heaven. Is beyond heaven. They have studied the scriptures, they are doing the havan, they are doing the sandhya, but they are not focused on the divine. But their wives, in those days, their wives used to be the tribal ones. Their wives, they have not studied any scriptures, they are not educated, they are not doing any havans, they are not doing any japa. But where is their heart? Only on Krishna. Only on Krishna. The stories have been heard by the wives of the Rishis, and the stories of the feats of Krishna have been heard by the Rishis also. Rishis take it just as another event, but their wives, they take him to be the incarnation of the Lord himself. See the difference? Similarly, Satya Sai Baba came into our lives. Shirdi Sai Baba, when Shirdi Sai Baba was there, we are seeing that so many people are against him. Some people, very handful, they accept him as the Lord himself. Satya Sai Baba, same thing. People went to kill him, people went to shoot him, but he forgave. And now that same person who was going to shoot him is a great devotee. I went to Trichur last year. There one Baba is there. He's a Datta Avdhut, his name is. And he was a servant in a family's house. They found him somewhere and they said for dishwashing, pocha, cleaning the house. And in their house every weekend, Thursday, the Sai Baba bhajan used to be held. And he used to hear. One day he asked, oh, what is this? Who is this Sai Baba? Oh, he is God. Can I also take his name? Yes. What is the name? Sai Ram. Within few years, he became realized. That family remained there only. They were busy in doing, in the name of devotion, they were busy doing karma kanda. I'm not saying karma is wrong. Let it happen.
Attachment and ownership should not be there.
Correct. But that boy, in that same environment, went far ahead, isn't it? See? So this is not being told to make you right or wrong. It is being told so that we change our vision of life that we are living. So we make corrections. We live according to some resolutions that we have made. You have made a resolution, you are his wife, you are her husband, you want to come to satsang, etc., etc. You have to make a resolution, you have to make a commitment that there is a different way to look at life, the way Lord is telling, way the Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling, based on the words of the Lord. I may not be there yet, but I must make an attempt. I must remain committed to that vision. Otherwise, I will be just another person who will die complaining, who will live whole life complaining, forget death also. Who will remain attached to the places, the people, the objects, the possessions. And we have studied Bhagavad Gita, but no lasting change will come if we are still continuing to live as we have been living. Something needs to change in order for our vision of the world to change, isn't it? Our world is based on our convictions. Change your convictions. Gita is about changing our convictions about ourselves, about the world, about our interaction with the world. Then transformation comes. Then realization, recognition of the divinity here and now will happen, not because you choose, but because it is your birthright. Because it was always that way. There has never been a moment that you are not divine, but you don't recognize it. We don't recognize that. For that, this antakaran needs to dissolve. Antakaran, mind, intellect, memory and ego needs to dissolve. Just if you keep thinking of that impact of this statement, that the antakaran needs to dissolve, means memory means everything that I think I am or I have been has to dissolve. All relationships have to dissolve. All your ownerships and possessions have to dissolve. All your expectations into the future, what you want to be or what you don't want to be, have to dissolve. And be replaced by what? Initially, to be replaced by the remembrance of the Lord. Can you dissolve all the thoughts from the mind by yourself? Impossible. Then who can? The Lord. Because remembering also, thinking of the Lord is also karma at the mental level, isn't it? Karma means movement. So think of such thoughts which have the capacity and the potential to dissolve the antakaran. Such thoughts should be entertained in our mind. Continuing. नातरी भयाचे निमिसे माते न पविजेची काय कंसे की अखंड वैरवंशे वैद्यादिकी अगासोय रेपणेची पांडवा माझे सायुज्य यादवा की ममत्वे वसुदेवा दिका सकळा नारदा ध्रुवा अक्रूरा शुकाहन सनत कुमारा या भक्ती मी धनुर्धरा प्राप्यु जैसा तैसाची गोपिकासी कामे तया कंसा भय संभ्रमे ये राघातका मनोधर्मे शिशुपालादिका आगामी एकुलाणीचे खागे मजये वोपा भलतेनी मार्गे भक्ती का विषय विरागे अथवा वैरे म्हणवनी पार्था पाही प्रवेशावया माझ्या ठाई उपायांची नाही वाणी एथ आणि भलतिया जाती जन्मावे मग भजिजे का विरोधावे परिभक्त का वैरिया व्हावे माझियांची अगा कवणे एके बोले माझे पण जरी जाहले तरी मी होणे आले हाता निरुते या लागी पाप योनी अर्जुना का वैश्य शूद्र अंगना माते भजता सदना माझिया येती. He says, did not Kamsa attain to me out of fear or Shishupal, the king of Chedi, through prolonged enmity? The Yadavas and Pandavas attained union with me through ties of kinship, and Vasudeva and others through filial love. Narada, Dhruva, Akrura, Shuka and Sanat Kumara attained to me through devotion. So here the Lord, I have given you few examples, now here Lord is giving some more. The first one was, it is not important what emotion you are showing. Shishupal had hatred towards Krishna. And Krishna, towards the end, when Yudhishthir was going to be crowned as the emperor after the Rajasuya Yagya, Shishupal says, so they said, who is going to be the chief guest of this whole congregation? Yudhishthir says, it's going to be Krishna Vasudev. The moment he heard Krishna, Shishupal, who already was hating Krishna, he says, how dare you make him? He is this, he is that. He started abusing him in front of all the people. Who? The chief guest. Krishna says, oh Shishupal, I have waited for all my life because I gave a word to your mother. And what is the word that I gave? I told her, till 100 times I will listen to your abuses. Once you have completed 100 mistakes of disrespecting me or abusing me, I will finish you. And that hatred, when 100 abuses were over, Shri Krishna sent his chakra, separated the head from the body. Kamsa, he out of fear of Krishna, he attained oneness with him. Shishupal, out of hatred, he attained oneness with him. Fear and anger against Krishna. So also gopis attained oneness in him because of love. His parents, Vasudeva, Devaki, our Yashoda and Nanda Baba, they attained oneness with the Lord out of their parental love. All the Rakshasas that he killed, they became one with him out of anger and hatred. And yet there were others like Narada, Dhruva, Akrura, Shuka and Sanat Kumaras who were devoted to him. These are all mythological from old times. You can see, I have given you enough examples even in today's time who have attained to him. O wielder of the bow, gopis attained to me through love, Kamsa through fear and Shishupal and others through their wicked intentions. I am the final goal for one who seeks me by whatever path, through devotion, renunciation and through enmity. Therefore bear in mind, O Partha, that there is no dearth of means with which one can enter into my being. In whatever caste one is born, whatever be his ruling passion, whether love or hatred, he should direct it to me. By whichever path you wish to belong to me, you will surely become one with me in due course. Therefore, O Arjuna, if a person, whether a wild birth or Vaishya or Shudra or woman worships me, he or she enters my eternal abode. So the whole purpose of this thought that is presented in verse 32, what was it told? Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syu papayo nayaha striyo vaishyas tatha shudraha tepi yanti param gatim. If we believe that we are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, we are born in a good family and therefore we are devotees of the Lord, therefore we have the right to remember the Lord, therefore we have the right to enter the temple, therefore we have the right to take the name of the Lord. Even today there are so many temples where the low born are not allowed to go. See? And it's not only in Hinduism, in Christianity also and in Islam also it is the same. See? So here, remember I told you one story, I think last class. There was one couple in Bombay and the lady, when she got married to this gentleman, who was a very, very egoistic person, so to say, the first thing, what does he tell his wife? That I am a communist, there will be no God in my house, and she was a Krishna devotee from Kerala. And he did not allow her to have an altar in the house, he did not allow her to go to the temple, totally controlled. After 6 months of crying, because she wanted to light lamp every day, she wanted to give bath to the Lord that's how she has been brought up. But circumstances came and she had to change. After 6 months of crying, one day she made a resolution. She made a resolve. She resolved within our mind. If Lord is everywhere, why do I need an altar? That, see, this resolution. So, if my husband feels happy that he should not have an altar in the house, but he cannot stop me from having an altar in my mind and my heart. And she started doing her pujas every day in her mind after he went to work. See how beautiful. So life brought her to a stage from outside to inside. Manasik puja. And she says, when she was 70 years old, she says, Swamiji, this husband of mine, this is how he behaved and he is my greatest teacher. There is no greater teacher in my life. He is the one because of whom I became so close to Lord. And she had so many siddhis. And when she was saying like this, she had never spoken. You don't speak like that to every common person who comes into your house. Swamiji must have gone, so it must have come out of her. At that very moment, the husband also cried. He says, Swamiji, that is her greatness that she is calling me her Guru. Truly speaking, she is my Guru. I must have been a demon to have treated her the way I had treated throughout my life. And yet she is calling me that I am her teacher. It is because of her my family is together. It is because of her sacrifice that it took me so many years, but she was patient, and eventually I turned around and saw where I was wrong. So she is my teacher. How beautiful in life if husband and wife see each other as their teachers, isn't it?
Sure.
And not just to say, from their heart. So how do we convert a situation into a learning experience? This, if ego is there, it will not happen. But if we are devotee of the Lord, if we are remembering it to the Lord, then our attention will be, if this situation has come about, what is there to learn from me from this? Oh Lord, please reveal it to me. Any situation. Then that instant, that experience, that situation, that event of your life becomes your teacher. But are we ready to become a student? Are we ready to become a student? Or are we in our own, that Tismar Khan, that I know everything, I am on top of my life, everything is happening according to my will. This shift has to come about. So here the Lord is saying, whatever your emotion, whatever your bhav, offer it to me. And with this, we enter into the 33rd verse. Kim punar brahmana punya bhaktya rajarshayastadha anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasva mam. He says, how much more so then holy Brahmins and devout royal sages, having come to this impermanent joyless world, worship me. We'll look at it in our next class. So, yena kena prakarena, any way, which way you can, by actions at the body level, by actions at the speech level, or by actions at the thought level. Let the theme, let everything, manasa vacha kaya, be offered at the feet of the Lord. The goal should be the Lord. What bhav is there does not matter. Anger, offer it to the Lord. Jealousy, offer it to the Lord. Love, offer it to the Lord. Comparison, offer it to the Lord. Automatically, He will give us the vision of looking at life in a different way. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.